Welcome to the second webinar of our series covering Qlik data alerts today. If you did miss the first webinar, sorry, in the series, which covered licensing options, then please do contact your account managers here at Ometis and we can send you the replay link. So today's session is going to include a brief presentation by myself, followed by a demonstration of data alerts in the SaaS platform by my colleague Chris Lofthouse. We'll leave you some time at the end for questions, a Q&A session. It will be quite interactive, but if you do have any questions during the course of the demonstration or the presentation, feel free to pop it in the chat box at the bottom. I think it should be there for you, and we'll do our best to answer those questions for you. One thing to note before I do get into the presentation, alerting is available for both client managed customers and SaaS customers too. There are some subtle differences between the two offerings, but for today's purposes, we will be showing you what alerting looks like in the SaaS platform. And if you do want to know more about the client managed version, then again, let us know and we'll be more than happy to have those conversations with you outside of this. We're just conscious of confusing matters and doing two demonstrations at the same time. Just for a little bit of context, Qlik Alerting is an intelligent alerting platform providing sophisticated data-driven alerts that helps users proactively monitor their business and take action from it. It goes way beyond the simple KPI thresholds, helping you to easily spot outliers, anomalies, and it gives you the ability to drill down and evaluate individual dimension values as well. Alerts are context aware, so they provide links to anybody who has an alert set up for themselves or the business has set up for them, and it takes that user directly to the right visualization with the selections applied. So you don't need to do any of that sort of self-service if you are in a Qlik dashboard in the traditional way that you would do. By having something like Qlik Alerting in place, it helps reduce and decrease that dashboard fatigue that you might have. So you might have a number of different dashboards and applications that you have permissions to use. It might get overwhelming because there's so many for you to kind of look through. But by having the right alert set up for, you know, maybe the one that you, maybe the one application that you use the most, will drive users to actually get to the right analytics with the right context and promote that user engagement that a lot of businesses want and adoption of Qlik Sense as well. Users can create self-service alerts, so individuals who have applications and have a license allowed to them can actually create an alert that they want to. But organizations can also choose to centrally configure what alerts will be sent out to each individual user of Qlik, and also manage the alerting for widespread distribution as well. But it's entirely up to the business whether they want to have it centrally organized or whether they want each users to actually empower them and make their own alerts as well. The alerts are distributed through mobile and email. But one thing to note from today's session is that mobile push notifications aren't applicable in the SaaS option, but they are during the client managed version as well. So again, depending on which option you decide to use alerting in, then you'll have the necessary permissions, but generally across both platforms, you can do email notifications. This supports users with a pull model. So if you want to create your own notifications, then it allows you to self-serve, but also it provides the organizations with a pull model, providing administrators with the ability to broadcast insights to wider business users as well. But also the delivery of the alerts are flexible. You can actually schedule them as and when you want to, and Chris will show you the different abilities in terms of the scheduling times as well, or you can run them on an app reload basis as well. It's completely up to you how you want to customize that. It also provides a simple interface in Qlik Sense that allows users to easily set up these alerts for themselves based on the data that you actually select as well. So you don't need to worry about it having its own kind of functionality and a new web platform to use. You can carry out every kind of alerting build inside Qlik Sense. Organizations, if you do want to keep your notifications central and sort of organize and manage the distribution of that, you can create templates in your emails as well. So, you know, you can customize the look and feel of how that information is going out to your users. Unlike alerting capabilities in other products and other competing products, alerting isn't tied specifically to one visualization. Other query-based tools typically limit data that can be used in certain fields or visualization types, but with alerting, the advanced calculation conditions can be run across all of your data. Qlik Alerting runs alongside Qlik Sense, so it delivers alerts to your users based on the data that's contained in Qlik Sense as well. It includes an alerting server, which is robust and it's centralized in application, but it can also manage alerts as well. So like I said before, you have the option to create your own alerts if you're an individual user of Qlik Sense, but if you want to sort of roll out the same message across to everybody, you can do that too. Qlik Alerting can provide a complete set of alerting capabilities. I won't go through everything in this slide because there's a lot to cover here, and I do also want Chris to have the opportunity to demo some of this stuff that we've been talking about. But just to let you know, some of the things that it includes is actually, you know, full integration with Qlik Sense. It's built using the same Sense APIs, and those same open APIs actually help you inherit all the security and the governance, not government, in Qlik Sense itself as well. You have the ability to define, trigger, distribute system alerts to administrators and interested users as well, but also it can be looked after by an individual or across the business itself. So that was a brief summary of how Qlik Alerting can work for businesses. I am going to pass over to my colleague Chris now, who will be actually showing you the types of things that we've been talking about as well. So thank you for listening to me quite briefly. And yeah, Chris, over to you now.
Perfect. Thank you, Sharon. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Sharon, can you confirm that the right screen is showing?
Yeah, I can see Qlik Sense now.
Perfect. So I'm going to show you Qlik data alerts in the SaaS offering. There are two main use cases. The first is system notifications, which I'll demonstrate right now. So every app that you've got within your Qlik SaaS platform will have the three dots, the ellipsis on the thumbnail. If you click on this drop down, it will allow you to go to the notification preferences. And in here, you've got the ability to turn on notifications or alerts for either the web, so you'll be notified in the hub via this icon in the top right hand corner here, or via email. So I'm just going to go ahead and tick when the app fails to reload to notify me there. So I'm just going to go back here and trigger a reload, like so. And then whilst that's reloading, I'll just move my screen to the side here so you can see it come through. We'll just look at how to manage those notifications as well. So in the top right hand corner here, you've got the little profile icon. If you click on that, we can then see there's a space there for alerts. This will take us to the alerts settings page. And in here, we can see that we've got the ability to manage your alerts, but also your notifications. As I'm in the hub already, I get alerted when an app has failed. But here, because I've turned on that alerting and providing that you've configured your SMTP server, your mail server, you will then be notified via alerts as well. Just before I look at this alert, let's have a little look into the management settings here. What you can see here is that we've got notifications for spaces, for apps, and then for the alerts themselves, the data alerts. In here, you can turn notifications on for when you've been added to a space or been removed, and a few other options there as well. You can also set up alerts or notifications for when you've got any app available, any app has successfully reloaded or failed there as well. And if I just scroll down a little bit further, you've got app-specific data alerts. So if you don't want to have an alert for all apps because you only own a subset of those within a particular space maybe, you can then modify these or delete those notifications there as well. If I just go back over to my email here, I'll just move this onto the screen. You can see here I've got this alert which specifies the tenant that the alert came from. So if you've got multiple tenants, the space the app resides in, and the app itself. I've also got the ability to then open the app or manage the notifications. So I'll go ahead and open the app. I'll just close down this alert. And in here, we'll have a look at what's happened with that particular application. So here you can see I've got an error within my app. So I'm just going to move that down because obviously this is a demo. I'm just going to trigger another reload. What you'll notice when I trigger this reload, and whether I trigger the reload of an application either through the schedule or manually, I will still be alerted. Because this is successfully finished, that alert won't be sent to me again. The second use case you've got, so that just quickly covers off system alerts for your system and administration users or app owners. You've also got data alerts. So this is the second main use case. So this is where you've got some data within your app and you want to monitor it when it reaches a certain threshold. So on the left-hand side here, I've got the products that I'm selling, and these black lines represent the targets. So I want to know once I've reached a target per particular product. So there's two main things to consider when you're building your alerts. What do you want to monitor? So I'm going to monitor products that have met their targets, and then also when do you want that alert to trigger? So to create alert, all we need to do is just right-click and click Create Alert. And then you've got this nice little GUI interface, a graphical user interface, a little wizard to help us through this. So I'm going to give this a name. So I'm going to call it product target met. And I'm going to add a measure. So any visualization within the application, you can create an alert from. In this case, when I create it from a particular chart, it's then elevating those measures and the dimensions used to the top of the list, but I still have access to all the measures within my master items. So I'm going to go ahead and click on sales, and I'm also going to add in there the target as well, because I'm going to compare the sales versus the target. Now I can compare this at a high level, so sales and target, or I can refine it and I can aggregate it by a particular dimension like I've done in my visual. So I'm going to go ahead and add in here the product. And you can choose whether to consider the selection state that you've got at this point in time, or to have no selections or a particular bookmark. I'm just going to leave it with the current selections as it's going to achieve the same thing. So now I've got a little preview of that data alert. Now I need to set up a condition for when to send it. So I'm just going to hit on next here, and you can see that it's a three-part wizard. And now I can start saying, defining the condition of when to send me this alert. So I'm going to send it when the sales measure is greater than the measure target. So now you can see that we've got an empty table in the preview because none of the products at this point in time have exceeded the target. So I'm going to go ahead and click on next, and I'm going to leave these options as the default. So I'll just say send it always. That means every time the app refreshes, it's going to trigger that alert. It will only send it though once the condition's been met. Equally, if I'm a professional user, I can enable the share with others option, and I can share this with up to 20 users within the Qlik platform. The users must have access to the app in order to receive the alert. So now I can go ahead and click on create. And I'm going to go back into the data editor just to make a modification to my script that will force that particular reload. So I'll go ahead, trigger that alert. I'm just going to come out of the application for now and just go back. So what I've done there is I've created an alert, I've set up the measures to monitor, I've specified the dimension to aggregate over, and then I've told it when to schedule based on the sales exceeding the target, and it's doing that on a per product basis in this example, but you can do it as an overall KPI as well. So here I've now got my alert, and you can see that products C and B, out of the 3 products there, have now exceeded the target. One was 140,000, the other was 150. I can now go ahead and view this in the app, and this is just to replicate what it'd be like for an end user who might not be in the Qlik platform at the time of receiving that alert. And you'll notice it takes me to the sheet that I was on when I created the alert there as well. So you jump straight in the data, which is nice and easy and intuitive for your end users. So if I hover over this, you can see that sales was £222 greater than the target there, and I've smashed my my target for product C. Next, we're going to look at a more complicated condition where we'll look at adding 2 conditions to a particular alert here as well. So here I now want to compare myself against my peers, and here you can see we've got a list of 6 different salespeople within the organization, and I don't want to drop into that bottom 30th percentile there. I don't want to be at the bottom of this list. I certainly want to sell more than the office dog, and I definitely don't want to associate myself to Neil there, who's very far behind that target. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create an alert to tell me to sell more if I ever appear in this bottom, the bottom 2 here. So what I'm going to do is just create another alert. I'm going to call this sell more. And again, I'm going to add another measure. So in this case, we're going to do sales again. And I'm going to refine the data. This time I'm going to do it over the salesperson. So here you can see I've got a list of all the salespeople and their sales values there to date. And then I'm going to select the measure or dimension I want to pivot over. So in the first condition I'm going to add, it's going to be the sales value. So what you can do within Qlik is you can actually use something called current set as one of the options. So I'm going to do where the sales is less than the current set being the sales by salesperson. So looking at these 6 particular values and the sales for that. And I'm going to select the aggregation percentile. So I just want the bottom 30th percentile. So there you can see currently it's Neil and the office dog. Now I could go ahead and click on next and save this particular alert, but actually I just want to be alerted when I've dropped into the bottom 2. So I don't always want to be told that Neil's in there because I know he's always going to be in there. So I just want to know when I'm in there. So I'm going to click on add an additional condition, and this time I'm going to select the dimension salesperson. I'm going to select equals to, I'm just going to type in my name there. So now I've got it specific to me. So there you can see that the preview has rendered a blank table again, so I can see the columns that are going to be included, but at the moment, this condition hasn't been met. So again, I'm going to click on next. And this time, as sales come and go constantly throughout the week from day to day, I don't always want to be alerted to it. So I'm just going to specify that I only want it to happen the first time it happens within a particular week. And again, I'll go ahead and click create. And now we'll go back to the data load editor. I'm going to trigger another forced condition by clicking on load here. So again, I'll just move this to the side. I'll close some of these down so you can see this come in real time. I'm just going to close down that application. So here you can see that I've actually now got 2 alerts. So I've got the product beating the target. So that, if you remember, the notification frequency was always, and now I've got the sell more one there as well. So again, I can either click on the view details, but what I'll do in this case is just show you the experience through the hub. So if I was already in the Qlik Sense Hub, you can see here that I've now got the a number 3 next to the notification icon there at the top right hand corner. So here I can see all the notifications I've got, and the most recent one is this sell more. And there I can see the same thing that's all within the email. So again, I can open this up and I can view this in the application. And if I view that, I can now see that I'm now performing below the office dog there. So that gives you some insight into a couple of the use cases that you can use, and hopefully some of the power that you can extract, or value you can extract from the Qlik platform. Just quickly before I finish up, I'll just show you the ability to manage those alerts again. So within the alerts settings page, you can go in, you can see the alerts that you've been either subscribed to by somebody else or ones that you've created yourself. You can choose within this view to either edit the alert within the app. You can tell it to evaluate manually. So even if the reload hasn't happened, or you can simply choose to unsubscribe, disable, or delete. So that concludes the brief demonstration. I'll hand you back over to Sharon.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Chris, because we did have one or two questions that Mark asked. How does he switch alerts off? So I think you've just covered that in the last minute. So hopefully that works for you, Mark. And again, Chris, one of the other questions that's come through is, can I set up my own alerts? Well, which I think I saw you cover that. Yep, yeah, I think I saw you cover that. And what else have we got here? We've got, can I use the associative engine for things that haven't happened?
Absolutely. So as you saw when you're creating the conditions, you could do something like where a particular product in the example I showed, when the sales equals 0. So you can specify a hard-coded value. It doesn't have to necessarily exist in the data set there. So you can do that, or you can create some complex expressions as well.
Okay, yeah. Excellent. And that's about it for the questions. I don't, unless others, oh, there we go. Andy Chalk, yeah, thank you, Andy. His name, what's the name of the office dog? It's Harvey, actually, and he's in my office here with me. I'd put him up on the camera, but he's a bit shy. But yeah, thank you, Andy, for that one. Any other questions for anybody before we finish off? We will be recording it. I think that's right. Sorry, we are recording it. I think that's right. Sharon?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be sending that out soon.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll be sent out to all attendees. Okay, great stuff.
Brilliant.
Back to you, Sharon. No more questions.
Well, thanks, Neil. And thank you to everybody for joining today. We do hope you found it interesting, and hope that, if you do want to know more, you can just get in touch, and we'll be more than happy to have those one-to-one conversations with how you're allowed. Sorry, Neil, you were going to say something?
Yes, I am going to chip back in.
Yeah.
I hope Chris is still with us. Ali has asked, is the alerting only available for the SaaS version of Qlik?
No, not
so you
at
can have it for
all.
client managed.
Yeah, I was going to jump in on that. I thought I may as well share my presence here as well. Yeah, there's the similar functionality is available in both platforms. In the client managed one, it's a separate install. It's not fully built into the interface, and so on. It does have some additional capabilities, as Sharon mentioned, around the mobile app and alerting, and also more kind of high-level governance of that and so on. But yes, that is also an add-on product for client managed. It's not included with the Qlik Sense kind of base subscription, so it's something that you'd need to look at the pricing for, whereas it is included in the SaaS edition if you've got an active subscription. So yes, yeah. Any other questions?
So anybody who switched to hybrid ought to be able to use the SaaS element of it.
Yeah, anyone that has is on hybrid or bought their subscription before, whatever it was, the 1st of July last year, and can go hybrid, would be able to kind of mirror their apps up to that environment and use the alerting functionality, as well as things like the Insight Advisor chat. I know we've got a webinar coming up on that in a couple of weeks as well, so you can see that demoed. So there are some options there, even if you're currently on premise. You may have the option to look at the SaaS edition as a relatively simple kind of add-on or possible migration, depending on your setup.
Cool. Sorry, Sharon, I promise not to jump in again.
That's all right. You can do if there's any more questions. But if there aren't any, then let us know. You can get in touch with us either via email. We've got the web chat function available on our website as well. But yeah, other than that, I think it's a good point to start wrapping things up, and we'll get the replay links out to you as soon as possible.
Thank you all.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Take care. Bye.